What's life if you're not living on the edge? Even if that's just a banister on a staircase. The Oregon Ducks, the St. Mary's Gales, and our second elimination game of the day. It's the second elimination start for Maddie Hahn, the freshman who was the surprise starter in game one earlier today against Idaho State. She went 5 2/3, allowed just one hit. It ended up being a pinch hit home run that tied the game. She walked 2, struck out 5, and was spectacular to get the Gales to this point.
Yeah, she kept her team in it, pitch after pitch, and didn't know what to expect here for the second game of the doubleheader for St. Mary's, but going back to the rookie in the circle.
And here's the Oregon Ducks starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. Well, if they're going to play tomorrow against Mississippi State, it's got to start at the top. It's got to be Elon Butler and Amari Harper. Stephanie Maake has swung a great bat. Emma Cox came through last night with a sacrifice fly. We know Ayanna Shaw is capable of the big swing with just her second career home run and a grand slam last night. So what will they get out of the top of this lineup? They've had time to rest and wait. And so Maddie Hahn against Elon Butler, the freshman in the circle and the senior in the batter's box. We're off and rolling here in the third game of the day in Eugene, Oregon.
You know that Oregon offensively is going to be very aggressive after being no hit earlier today. You just have to make sure you're not overly aggressive. Still sticking to your game plan, not chasing out of the strike zone.
Butler out in front on this one, gives it a ride down the line. That's a way to start a ball game. An electric spark from Elon, a home run, and it's 1-0 Oregon.
This crowd has been waiting all day to cheer. Elon Butler leads the team in home runs. This is her 19th of the season. A little bat flip. This is a big swing from a big swinger. And this is for Oregon where it needs to happen. It needs to happen at the seniors at the top. Elon Butler and behind her, Amari Harper. These are the two biggest bats. Coach Lombardi likes to stack them at the top of the lineup, put a little pressure on the pitcher, especially in the first inning. That was a little bit of frustration in that swing.
So Harper comes up with 15 home runs. The top 4 hitters in this lineup for the Ducks all have hit at least 10. And Amari Harper has a particularly vested interest in winning this game. After transferring in from Texas A&M, the Aggies, the #1 national seed last year, eliminated in the regional round. She came here because of a deep and long-standing relationship with Missy Lombardi, and sends this to the warning track for a loud first out. Now, the reason Maddie Hahn got to start last game, and if the information we got last game remains true for this game, was because of the style of pitcher that she is. Their lead pitcher, Cody Vasquez, is a 2-time West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. But head coach Sonia Garnett said she felt like Hahn's style was more suited for a big swinging lineup, which Idaho State was, and Oregon is as well.
Yeah, and Hahn was down in the zone, working the drop ball against the big bats of Ava Brown for Idaho State. They have a couple of really big swingers, and so you think about how successful she was against that lineup. See if you can replicate that success against Oregon, who also has a lot of big bats with big swings. And Maddie Hahn, she was so successful on the inner half to the right-handed batters. It was all about getting ahead with the drop ball in, getting some foul balls, using those foul balls to set up something on the outer half right there. And that was a simple formula that worked for the freshman. And so you know that Oregon was watching that game. You're sitting in the clubhouse, you are at home, you have the luxury to be in your locker room, but you are watching film lifetime.
Maake sprays it past Sabat into left center field. You walk around the concourse here at Jane Sanders Stadium, it's hard to miss the Stephanie Maake fan club, whether it's t-shirts, hoodies. She's got her name on the back of a lot of folks' gear here, and she is on with a hard hit single. There is Odie Vasquez in the St. Mary's bullpen. She came on to finish last game. And Mia Nishikawa is the first on in relief here. So 3 batters in and a pitching change. It's 1-0 Oregon on Elon Butler's team-leading 19th home run.
Well, the senior transfer from Cal delivering first at bat of this game. Backs against the wall. Elon Butler with the big swing has her team up 1-0.
Nothing Oregon in this elimination matchup. Ducks were no hit earlier today, and it's Mia Nishikawa, the junior from Fresno, who's thrown 50 2/3 innings across 15 appearances this season.
Nishikawa was a freshman when St. Mary's was on this stage at the Stanford Regional 2 years ago, so has been there and done that, has kind of been that number 2 arm to Odie Vasquez. And the one thing about Nishikawa is she has the best changeup on the staff. We talked about Odie Vasquez. She brings the heat, spins it up in the zone, but doesn't really have an off speed that she can confidently go to. Well, Nishikawa does. So it could be another matchup for Coach Garnett, who is the head coach for St. Mary's, who is also calling the pitches to try and slow down this Oregon offense here in the first.
So a stylistic matchup choice here, if not an unconventional one for St. Mary's, looking to keep their season going. Rare you see a pitching change just 3 batters into the game, but of course St. Mary's just played a game right before this one. So it was a lot of work for Maddie Hahn. Emma Cox, the sophomore, has hit 7 home runs in her last 13 games. That's here with Stephanie Maake at first.
See a big swing on a rise ball that's up and out of the zone. As a pitcher, I'm just going right back to it. Don't overthink it.
One, 2 is elevated, 2-2 to Cox. From a baseball and softball family. Both of her parents athletes at Oklahoma. Her dad, Darren, played baseball. Mom, Karen, played softball. Pre-Patty Gasso for the Sooners. 2-2. That's a hard foul tip. Everybody's all right. Todd Foy shaking it off, the home plate umpire. We're good. It is cool here tonight in Eugene. 54, heading down into the high 40s later tonight. Let's bring your blanket weather. 2-2. Kayla Rosa's got it. 2 out here in the first. Nishikawa gets the strikeout against her first batter.
Really threw nothing but inside rise balls to Emma Cox, who's got a really hot bat right now for Oregon, has been moved up to the 4 spot, but perfectly located.
First time pitching in about 2 weeks for Nishikawa. Here's Kaylin Jones, the sophomore second baseman. Last outing for the junior in the circle came back on May 3rd. 3 scoreless innings against Loyola Marymount. Corners tied against the speedy second baseman.
That is really tough for the junior. You haven't pitched in a couple of weeks. Haven't seen any action in this regional. You get called upon. Of course, you've been warming up in the bullpen, waiting to hear your name called.
Jones, 346 this season at the plate, and quintupled her home run output from a year ago as a freshman, from hitting 1 to 5 this season. So a year ago when Oregon made it to the World Series, it was Stanford that stood in their way. The Cardinal defeated the Ducks, and then Oregon came back on Championship Sunday and won twice against the Cardinal. And they have it in them again to pull that off. Chopper, Zabak can't get it as she lays out. 2 on, 2 out. Oregon's already scored 1 here in the first.
I like what Kaylin Jones brings in the middle of the lineup. Coach Lombardi has her in that 5 spot. That secondary leadoff, an extra spark to keep the lineup going. There's a lot of tools in her toolbox. Goes to her slap. It's a nice 2-strike piece of hitting.
She's just tireless in everything that she does, whether it's her defense or her offense. Refuses to go quietly. DP Riley McCoy, 6th in the lineup for Oregon. And has had some loud outs this weekend. Last year as a freshman that she tied the program's single season record. She went yard 19 times. The power has subsided a bit this year. 1-1 pitch, a mile high. Lara by the bullpen secures the out, and the inning is over. Elon Butler hit her 19th home run of the year to lead off the inning. So it's 1-0 Oregon. St. Mary's coming to the plate when we return. The Duck has been active all around this ballpark. You blink, you miss something funny happening from the Duck. 1-0 Oregon. You blink, you miss Elon Butler's 19th home run on an elimination game. Oregon and St. Mary's. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Making sure she was all right. Taking a little tumble.
What an addition Elon Butler has been, transferring in from Cal for her senior season. 4th NCAA tournament in as many years. The Jane had over 2,000 fans last night to see the Ducks play, and a good contingent once again. Taylor Spencer started yesterday against Idaho State. Went 3 in the third, allowed just 1 run over 5 hits. It's a grand slam, helped carry the way for Oregon. And she starts here. The big headline for the Ducks, of course, is that Lindsey Grine is not available today, as was the case yesterday. She battles an eye infection. And so it's Spencer, the starter. And however long pitchers go in an elimination game, they'll go. When they run out of steam, next arm has to be ready. 1-1 to Camille Lara, who's had a propensity for drawing walks in this postseason.
That's why she's in that leadoff spot. Coach Garnett talked to Camille Lara and said, look, we need you to be on base more. What can we do to get you on base so we can utilize your speed? Bat in front of Hannah Ferguson. And we found out it was seeing more pitches.
Tap to short, Taryn Ho. With a strong throw, gets the speedy Lara. Speed is such a big part of what St. Mary's does. The starting lineup for the Gales, brought to you by Capital One. Hannah Ferguson, their leader in stolen bases this year. She stole one last game, 22 of 24. As with Oregon, where the top 4 hitters all have at least 10 home runs, top 4 in this lineup for St. Mary's all have at least 10 stolen bases. Ferguson's a .422 hitter.
We saw her use a variety of her tools in game 1 today. Show bunt, pull back and slap, swing away. True triple threat.
Two-0 count for the junior. He's only walked 6 times this year. And she's on. A single right back up the middle. There's not a moment she takes for granted anymore after missing all of last year with an arm injury. Didn't get to travel save for the final road series of the year. And she's on. Sonia Garnett, her head coach, told us last game as they stranded 13 runners and still found a way to win. Part of what they needed to do was be more aggressive on the base paths. So let's see just how soon they're willing to do that with their best base stealer on. Sam Buckley at the plate has homered here in this regional. Shown off her versatility as well. Takes a strike, 0-1 for the 3-time All West Coast Conference first team pick. So 13 left on, Kinsey, in the last game. What was the biggest issue that led to that?
I think there were a lot of pitches that were taken, and so it's such a good sign. Hannah Ferguson getting on base, 2-0 count, a hitter's count, getting in that right mentality to be aggressive. It's almost like St. Mary's offensively was trying to be a little too careful.
A perfect example of that, too, was Buckley came up in the second inning. 2 runners on. Fell behind 0-2 and then flied out to center field. That ended up being the end of the inning and the start of the parade of runners left on the base paths until they finally broke through on a 2-run single that was the difference maker from the freshman Andrea De La Rosa in the 6th. Buckley chases back-to-back pitches. Spencer hits her spots.
Just working the corner so well, especially when you saw the big swing from Sam Buckley in a hitter's count, a 2-1 count. That tells me as a pitcher, she's extending her strike zone, and I'm not going back over the heart of the plate. I'm actually going another ball off, and that's exactly what Taylor Spencer does. She brings the velocity as well, so you have to make up your mind as a hitter a little bit quicker. That's a big K.
Now, I wonder, too, how much of Emma Cox's defensive prowess behind the plate factors into whether they'd send Hannah Ferguson. Cox has been excellent. She's thrown out 6 runners. She picked off 6 runners this year. And coming into the postseason, the opposition in the Big Ten only attempted 22 steals against her, which was second fewest in the Big Ten.
Okay, I think in this situation, if you want to put Hannah Ferguson in motion, I need to see a hit and run. Maybe on the first pitch of the at-bat. Get a little action. There it is.
That was a hit and run and foul ball. So she'll head back to first base. Alex Cudinelli down 1-2 in the count. Hannah Ferguson told us when we chatted with all the teams Thursday that having a sense of urgency, being the aggressor, is part of what makes her a good base stealer. She's also looking at where the fielders are. Middle infield is wide. She doesn't run on a 1-2, and the count's even.
I would run here. If there is an out on the base path, as Alex Cudinelli has been swinging a very hot bat, and worst case scenario, she gets another AB.
Put a ball to the gap with Ferguson in motion. Could easily see the game tied at 1. 2-2 pitch is out number 3. St. Mary's stranded 13 earlier today. 1 left to board after 1, and it's Oregon in front. Yesterday, Ayanna Shaw came to the plate with the bases loaded. She'd hit 1 career home run in 111 games. She wasn't trying to hit a home run, she said, after the night was over, just trying to get a teammate in. It ended up being 4 to come across. Emma Cox added a sacrifice fly later. The Ducks lead the nation in that category. She was the hero. After their bats had been quiet, they had stranded a ton of runners. She leads off here for Oregon in this elimination game against St. Mary's. 7, 8, and 9 in the Ducks lineup.
It's always that mentality when you're at the plate, telling yourself, just do something simple. Right side, left side, ball on the ground. That's when the big swings will come. And her swing was very short into the ball. But just so much power in that swing. And that was quite the 4th inning. That was all Oregon needed.
It wasn't until April 5th of this year, her 3rd year in college, that against the Iowa Hawkeyes, she hit her first home run. It was a 2-run blast against Iowa. So the pop was perhaps somewhat unexpected. And a player who, with 14 stolen bases, led Oregon in that category this year.
She started this season super hot. Had a really hot bat and was seeing the ball really well, and then kind of hit a little bit of a speed bump in the middle of the season. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup, but as of late has really just turned the corner. And there's so many hitters in this lineup that have multiple tools. Think of Kaylin Jones, Ayanna Shaw. I mean, they have the ability to show you a drag, show you a slap, swing away, hit a grand slam.
Well, the option, if you're doing multiple choice, you're always safe going all of the above. That throw is high, it pulls Lane off the bag, and Shaw is safe at first.
This is what speed can do. It just rushes your decision. This is a routine out from Sam Buckley. And the throw is up and wide to the left. Ayanna Shaw, a ton of speed. Great stride down first base.
An error on Buckley. Pressure rising here in the 5th game of the weekend in Eugene. Taryn Ho steps in, pulls back on a bunt attempt. And the Gales will have to be precise defensively here. And they'll have to talk too. Once you've got the ball, where's it going? Now the The ball's going to left field, and Camille Lara is back to make the catch.
Unfortunate for Oregon, an unproductive out, but that ball was hit right on the screws.
There may not have been a more impressive defensive duck this weekend than Katie Flannery over at third base. Diving plays both to her left, towards second, into foul ground, preventing runs. And they're in the 9th spot with good speed ahead of her on the base paths for the junior out of Birmingham, Alabama. Exactly the type of pitch where somebody with Shaw's speed might look to run. So a nice job by the freshman De La Rosa to corral it quickly.
I'd like to see that changeup a little bit more from Nishikawa. She's been working that rise ball a lot and tight on the righties. Just needs something to offset that hard stuff.
2-0's in the dirt. Shaw's running, and she's into second base. Count 3-0 for Flannery, with Elon Butler coming up next. Wild pitch, charge to Nishikawa.
Hitters count here, an opportunity to cut the plate in half, sell out on one pitch. I love it. That was it. I'm looking at that exact spot as well. She was just underneath it. The timing was right there. Flannery was off the plate. Now you have to protect. If I'm Nishikawa, I'm going away.
The junior's 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. Even if Flannery doesn't reach, it's a battle like this from your 9-hitter that can lead to good things from the top of the lineup, making Nishikawa, the second pitcher of the game, have to work even harder. Underneath the 3-2, all the way in from center field, Tori Cervantes takes charge. That's out number 2. They've just got a few games left on the night. If you want to follow them all at once, the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. You can see every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. Elon Butler started off the game with a bang. A solo shot over the wall in left, almost equal with the height of the foul pole down the line. And with that, continued to etch her name in the record books in just one season here in Eugene. She tied the program record with 19 home runs and the runs scored single season mark with 66 of them just with that one swing.
Of course, talking to Coach Lombardi about her 2 star transfers, Elon Butler, behind her, Amari Harper. He was just like, man, I wish I had them for more years. Just 2 superstars here for one season, but making the most of it.
1-1 and thinking about home run number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the senior from San Jose, California. Big additions. Harper on the left from Texas A&M. And Butler from Cal, who arrived here as a .328 hitter and has hit .400 this year. Nishikawa looking for the put-away pitch. Having a little bit of difficulty getting those to flutter over the way she wants. Two-two. High, deep, left field. Lara back, and it's just short of the wall. Butler threatening for a 20th home run of the season. Oregon still with a 1-0 lead. Both teams playing to keep their seasons alive. When play got started yesterday in the regional round, 64 teams still alive on their quest to the World Series. The big upset of the day, at least in the early window, was Florida State losing at home against Stetson as the Hatters prevailed in that game. In Tuscaloosa at South Carolina Upstate, defeating Belmont. So they'll need 2 wins to get by Alabama there in Tuscaloosa, the #1 national seed. Oregon here playing in this elimination game, and Texas A&M will need to win 2 to move on to Supers. 1-0 in favor of Oregon. Elon Butler with a home run. St. Mary's in their last game playing earlier today eliminated Idaho State to stay alive. Get to 1-1 here in Eugene. A lot of their gratitude is directed to the freshman Andrea De La Rosa, who hit a hard ground ball pretty much directly at Cameron McDonald, the Idaho State shortstop, but it was hit so hard that she couldn't grab it, and it got into the outfield for 2 runs, and that's what allowed the Gales to pull away.
It was really fun to see a freshman have the biggest hit of her career. Whenever we're in those elimination games, I'm always thinking about the seniors. Where are the seniors in the lineup? When are they coming up? Will their careers continue? And so the fact that it was De La Rosa, who is the only freshman in this lineup, delivering that clutch hit was just kind of a fun little storyline. I got you, seniors. We can play one more game.
Gave them their first win ever in the NCAA tournament. They were 0-5 before that, having gone to UCLA for regionals, 0-2 in 2010, and then 2 years ago, 2-0 at Stanford. Second strikeout for Taylor Spencer, and they both look pretty similar.
Working the curveball, and so for St. Mary's, as you pass the bat and everyone's getting their first ABs, their first look at Taylor Spencer, there's going to be a lot of conversation about what are we doing with that outside pitch? Do we need to go up in the front of the box, get on the plate? Because right now they're having a lot of trouble identifying if it's a ball or a strike and chasing balls way out of the strike zone.
Lineup changes at this point of the season are pretty small, but this is a big one. Kaya Silva was a pinch hitter in each of their first 2 games. Last game, she pinch hit in the 4th for their DP Braxton Brown. Ended up with a fielder's choice, but then in the 6th, where she's retired deep into foul territory by Taryn Ho for the second out. She singled and came in with the 3rd and final run of the game for the Gales.
Yeah, at that point, St. Mary's was trying to find something different off of the bench, trying to spark, and I thought Silva had great at-bats, and so you have that second game right away, only 30 minutes in between. You're going to keep that bat rolling, give her the start.
The aspiration to continue a record year for the Gales with now 41 victories, their most ever. Their previous high was 30, and because of the success they've had under Sonia Garnett, this week. She signed a 6-year contract extension, which she was thrilled about. She took over this program in 2019 and had a losing year for 7 straight seasons. And this year they won the West Coast Conference by a whopping 4 games, won 15 of their 18 league contests, and had won 11 of 13 coming here to the regional. The biggest difference from 2024 when they went to Stanford, well, 1, they didn't have to face Nyjah Kennedy this year, but 2, is that at that point it was just gratitude for the opportunity to be there, because no one on that current roster had done anything like that before. This year, it was a little bit more of a mission, and they're a win away from getting to what they wanted to do. They want to play on Sunday.
Yes, you go from wanting to just enjoy the experience, and we're happy to be here, and it's a reward to be here in the NCAA tournament. We didn't make it to this stage a season ago, but the core of that team that made it in 24 is back, and older, wiser, more experienced, more hungry. And so this is a huge step for this program, getting back to the NCAA tournament and then winning a game, and then taking it from there. So you kind of have that monkey off of your back. Next step will be making a regional final and then making a super. And that's how you build your program.
Tori Cervantes at first base. The first baseman, Taylor Lane, redshirt senior from Southern California, looks at strike 1. Pitches in for Spencer, a good rhythm. 1-1, just missed 2-1.
Trying to show that off speed. Pitch that we haven't seen her need to use. It's been all about the curveball to both sides of the plate, whether that's a backdoor curve or away to the right-handed hitters.
The circle, Emma Cox, the sophomore catcher, with the opportunity to uplift. He knows the deal.
He's like, come on, where's the energy? Is this a one-man party or what?
BYOE, bring your own energy. Check swing, no swing. So we count 3-1. Alternatively, BYOB has taken on a new meaning this weekend. Bring your own broccoli. Guy's been out there since 1 o'clock today. Non-stop party, 3-2. It's at least the second visit from the Duck out to Broccoli Guy.
Do we know if ducks eat broccoli? Is that in their food palette?
I don't. I'm afraid to get my sneakers dirty, which tells you how much time that I've spent near a farm. 3-2 pitch. And Spencer tamps it down and polishes off the second inning. Willy Wonka only had 5 golden tickets, and they entitled you to a lifetime supply of chocolate. The AUSL, 17 golden tickets, a lifetime worth of memories, and a summer to never forget. And Amari Harper, one of those golden ticket recipients, was right here at James Sanders Stadium. Natasha Watley, a legend of the game, walked out onto the field. A Ducks legend and now WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu appeared on the video board out in right field to let her know. And boy, was she surprised, because Amari Harper, who transferred in this year from Texas A&M, thought she was going to have to find a job. The job found her instead. She was deep into interviews for an assistant director of operations job with the Philadelphia Eagles. Had to email them back and say, hope I didn't waste your time. She was very polite about it. She comes up here for the second time tonight. And for her, transferring from Texas A&M last year, there was no question about where she was going to end up.
Yeah, it's just such a fun story for Coach Lombardi to be able to coach Amari Harper. This is a player that Coach Lombardi has known since she was brand new, since she was born. Coach Lombardi has been in Amari Harper's life, best friends with her mom. Amari's mom, Carrie Frederick, was a shortstop for Coach Gasso at Oklahoma, which is where Coach Lombardi also played. So they were teammates at Oklahoma and just have grown up together. That's Coach Lombardi's son, Gianni. Well, not now, but it was when he was about 10 years old. And you could see Amari on the left and her twin brother on the right. And yesterday was Gianni's senior day. Plays baseball in high school, and Coach Lombardi said she had to go through a lot of photos to, get the scrapbook together and dig through the old archives. And she laughed and smiled when she saw a photo of Gianni with Amari. And who knew that these two would link up so many years later here at Oregon with Coach Lombardi being her head coach.
Harper continues to make that decision to come to Eugene, a worthwhile one, with a leadoff single for the Ducks here in the third.
And Coach Lombardi said she called me Miss growing up. But when she got Amari out of the portal and they were talking about coming to Oregon, she said, let me get one thing straight. You're going to have to call me Coach. You can't call me Miss when everybody else is calling me Coach Lombardi. And Amari was like, yeah, I got you, of course. It'll be a little hard at first, but I'll call you Coach. Once I graduate, maybe we can go back and call you Miss. Called you Miss for my entire life, but just a really cool opportunity for Coach Lombardi to get her out of the portal and kind of bring the family back home.
It's popped up and foul ground on the first base side. A little bit of stumble, but a grab there for Andrea De La Rosa. And for Amari Harper, it's not the only name that she's going to have to worry about this summer. Her assistant coach, Sierra Romero, is not going to be coach. It's going to be her fellow teammate.
Yeah, Coach Rowe. She said it's going to be hard not to call her, I guess, Coach Rowe, because she'll have to call her Sydney. They'll be teammates at the Oklahoma City Spark.
Harper over at first. Emma Cox 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Flare. It's Ferguson with great speed, but not enough time to get there.
It's really fun hearing Coach Lombardi talk about Sydney Romero, who has obviously played for Coach Lombardi at Oklahoma, where they won a couple of national championships together. And Sydney is still playing. She's an active player with the AUSL, and so she'll hit live on the field. And Coach Lombardi said training next to Sydney Romero, who is one of the GOATs in our sport, it's just different for our players. The mentorship is just amazing for my young athletes.
Lara slides but comes up short, 0-2. It's a little bit like if a parent tells a kid one thing, they don't want to listen, but then the cool aunt says it, and the kid goes, oh, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Not that they don't listen to Coach Lombardi.
I didn't think that's where you were going, but it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Not that I've ever been guilty of that.
I was thinking you were going to say, you're not doing what I'm telling you to do. Let me just show you how it's done.
Yeah, and that's why having a coach like that makes so much sense. This is an elite staff. Lara drifting back as out number 2. Because it makes a difference when it's somebody who players grew up idolizing and is now with them there every day.
Yeah, the staff for Oregon is one of the best in terms of accomplishments. Sam Martyr, the hitting coach, 3-time All-American at Idaho State. Of course, Sydney Romero, national champion, 2-time All-American at Oklahoma. Alyssa Palomino Cardoza, the first base coach for Oregon, was a 2-time All-American at Arizona. And Coach Lombardi said, man, if we could suit these players up, watch out. Of course, they're not players anymore, but deep down they still are. They're in coach mode now, but when they were in their heyday, when they did suit up, they were some of the best to do it.
Are you trying to organize a one-off event of college coach staffs?
I'm ready.
Each other?
Can I join as like a...
You're a volunteer assistant somewhere.
I'll play Rover.
Lara gets the last 2 outs of the inning. So Harper had the leadoff single, then 3 straight outs. 1-0 Ducks. However, when they say may the odds be ever in your favor, that is true for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, because if you win early and you only need one more win on Sunday, odds are you're going to Supers.
And what a way for Mississippi State to be in the driver's seat. 4-0 victory and just so dominant. A no-hitter, of course, the highlight, Alyssa Faircloth, but I tell you what, the offense for the Bulldogs, it has been a long time since they have been that dialed in, and it was from the first inning, really setting the tone. We'll see if that offense will continue tomorrow, and of course, I'm sure they're at the hotel watching this game, doing a little scouting, kicking your feet up. Who are we going to play?
First no-hitter of a national seed in the NCAA tournament since 1999.
Ooh.
And the second of Alyssa Faircloth's career. She threw one in March of 2025 while she was at Torrey Trojan. Allowed just one base runner. And it's the first time that Mississippi State has started the NCAA tournament 2-0 since their first appearance all the way back in 2000 when they got sent out to Seattle. We sat down with Samantha Ricketts yesterday. And my first question, you'll be surprised to learn it wasn't a serious one, was why do they keep sending the Bulldogs out west? Now, part of that is just logistics, that you're not going to have a rematch here in the regional round. The SEC has plenty of hosts. And, of course, 2 years ago, they got sent to Stanford. So they're no strangers to making long journeys. Mia Zabat in the 9 spot, grounds out to short. And Oregon is no strangers to having to play in this game because it's what they did last year to get out of regionals. We'll talk about that and the health of the Ducks with Missy Lombardi coming up when we go to the 4th inning. Of course, the big question looming over Oregon has been about the health of Lindsey Grine. Their all Big Ten first-team pitcher in her second and final year with the Ducks has been unavailable to go here this weekend because of an eye infection. So day-to-day, the hope that the swelling will go down tomorrow because it is an all-hands-on-deck day when you're the team that needs to win too. First time through the lineup complete. 2 base runners for St. Mary's. 1 single and 1 walk.
We saw Elise Sokolsky get the start against Mississippi State. Taylor Spencer got the start yesterday, game 1, against Idaho State. So just trying to find the right pieces, putting the bullpen together without their ace, without their All-American.
On and off today, to no one's surprise, we've seen some precipitation here in Eugene. But it's come and gone. And it'll go again. Not even a thought of bringing the tarp out today. Long run. And the ball eludes Amari Harper, 2-2.
That is an all-turf outfield, and we've seen a couple of hops show us that it is turf, right? You're going to have a higher bounce. So that's difficult if you're an opponent. That's usually dealing with grass, playing on grass. Mari Harper has practiced here all season long, so she knows the hops and knows how to read it as an outfielder.
Well, there's a lot of grass here, but turf on the field. Strike 3, a beautiful pitch from Spencer.
Third strikeout. The first one caught looking here, just working away. You can see the spin, the backdoor curve, and so this is tough for Lara. She sees it away. She kind of gives up on it. You have to recognize that spin rotation and not let it travel too far deep. You have to just see it as deep as you can. Just a little bit fooled there, but an elite pitch from Spencer.
Hannah Ferguson, triple threat. She is 2 for 2. Will she try for 2 bags? This speed is elite. A 2-out double for Ferguson. Those are the wheels she's been waiting to show off all weekend.
Yeah, slow start for Hannah Ferguson yesterday, but I tell you what, here in game number 2 from game number 1, she is as advertised in this 2-hole. Leads D1 in triples, and you can see why. She has that combination of power and speed. I would not have wanted to play defense against Hannah Ferguson. You just don't know where to play her. She's constantly reading the defense, using her different tools, but showing us some power right there. That was fun to watch.
Sets up Sam Buckley with a golden opportunity. The Gales down 1-0 in the third. Former league freshman of the year, 3-time first teamer. 1-1 from Spencer, who struck out Buckley on a curveball in the first inning.
Wow, just pulling that pitch out. And Buckley doesn't have to do too much here with the speed of Ferguson at second base.
Spencer's 1-2 in the dirt. Ferguson 60 feet away.
Well, Spencer goes back-to-back off-speed pitches. Has not used that pitch a lot, but got the call, and so Coach Lombardi says, let's try it again, and it's just out of the zone. And Hannah Ferguson, she's elite on the base paths. It doesn't take much for her to get an extra 60 feet.
Two out, Spencer's 2-2. She strikes out Buckley again. Curveball times 2.
Well, it's all about the setup here, using that off-speed pitch to set up this pitch, the curveball. It's up and away. Buckley cannot catch up to it. And Taylor Spencer, she pitches with some emotion, and I'm loving it.
Oregon's in front of St. Mary's, 1-0, a win. And it's on to the regional final tomorrow against Mississippi State. Ducks head coach Missy Lombardi with us. So a less than ideal game to start today with a no-hitter against y'all. What did you say to the team, especially that manifested with Elon Butler getting that leadoff home run to get him back here in game 2?
With this group, I think we needed to be a little more aggressive. I thought we were a little too passive earlier, so I love the aggression that we've come out with this game. I love the way we're swinging, and Elon starting the game off with the home run.
And Coach, obviously the biggest storyline still without your All-American in the circle, but how about your junior getting the start, giving you guys some emotion? What are you seeing from her?
I love Taylor. We call her spicy. She's got a lot of spice on the mound. I love how these guys pick up for each other.
Thanks, Missy.
All right.
She's like, it's raining.
I'd like to get back under enclosure now.
She's like, I don't have to coach third base. I can stay in the dugout here.
There's Lindsey Grime, the All-American, starting pitcher, out tonight for the second straight day. It was about 30 minutes before first pitch yesterday that we found out she was not going to be able to go yesterday. And it is day to day for Lindsey Grime. Are you a spice person? Spicy food?
Yeah, I'm from Tucson. Grew up on Mexican food.
Hard shot past Buckley into left field. Base hit for Riley McCoy. It doesn't have to be spicy, though.
It doesn't, but it's good when it is. It's a little spicy here. Good aggressive swing, getting the ball in tight. This is hard to get to as a right-handed hitter because that ball's drifting in, a screwball continuing to go tight on your hands. You have to get your barrel there. You just have to be very strong to hit a pitch that tight inside. Good bat speed from McCoy.
A pinch run with Presley Lawton at first base for Riley McCoy. The genesis of my question, though, was I was taking a food recommendation the other night from our friend and yours, wherever you may be watching, Kayla Bro, a native of Eugene, now an assistant for Patrick Murphy at Alabama. Congrats to the Crimson Tide in the regional final tomorrow. So she recommended a Thai restaurant to me. And who am I to say no? So I went the other day, ordered pad Thai. They said, how spicy would you like it? I said 0, lest I perspire during my entire meal. Not ideal.
Was it spicy or was it to your liking?
It was not spicy and it was to my liking.
Okay, great. Good rec from Kayla.
She won't steer us wrong. Spice level of this game medium so far. 1-0 Oregon lead. But they've got good speed on the base paths. The always dangerous Ayana Shaw popped up and snagged by De La Rosa. Bottom of the 4th inning, Sonia Garnett, two-time WCC Coach of the Year, chats with us. See what she's looking for from her team. A carryover from their last game when they stranded 13 runners on base. 3 trips to the plate, 3 runners left on. They solved it late in the game, though. Still plenty of opportunity with at least 4 more trips up for the Gales.
Second time through the lineup, you can tell Oregon has been hunting early in the count the inner half from Nishikawa.
Taryn Ho hits her second ball of the day to the left side. And St. Mary's gets 1. Buckley to Cudinelli. The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action starts Thursday, May 28th, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific. What time is that in Hawaii?
Don't ask.
All right.
I don't know.
Look it up. For more information on the 2026 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. 2 gone after the fielder's choice for Taryn Ho. Katie Flannery is up for the second time. She's 0 for 1. It doesn't tell the full story because she battled in her first time up.
Yeah, it was a great at-bat. Ended up flying out to center field, but saw a lot of pitches, trying to flip that lineup over.
Rain has picked up a little bit here in the top of the 4th inning. Passing showers throughout the day, and no one in this crowd is fazed by this precipitation. Certainly not Flannery, because that one's gone! For the second straight day, a bottom of the lineup home run keeps the Oregon Ducks afloat. The Duck Dinger makes it 3-0 Oregon in the 4th.
Broccoli guy has been with us since day 1, game 1 of this regional, and he's out there in center field waiting for some offense. That ball was headed his way. It's just softball cinema right now. We've got home runs, it's raining, we've got Broccoli, and how about Katie Flannery? This is what happens when you have good at-bats. You earn pitches like this. And a good at-bat, even though she was out in her last one, it can feed into your next one. And it's exactly what we just saw from the 9th spot. Just her 3rd home run of the season. I love to see in postseason those extra pieces around the stars step up. And it's what we're seeing from Oregon in this regional this weekend.
She knew right around the time she hit first base that that ball was out of the yard. Yesterday, the home run from Ayanna Shaw. Today from Katie Flannery. And now a pitching change. Jody Vasquez takes over. Mia Nishikawa carried it for St. Mary's. 3-0 Ducks. Not every team has the luxury to go to a 2-time conference pitcher of the year out of the bullpen. St. Mary's does. And Jody Vasquez, who earlier today pitched an inning and a third scoreless. Yesterday, in a walk-off loss against Mississippi State, went 7 2/3 and steps in here against Oregon. The Ducks leading 3-0 in this elimination game.
This is one of the best arms on the West Coast. Of course, the West Coast Pitcher of the Year. She's done that twice now in her career. The senior has been leading St. Mary's back to this stage. So, yeah, you have her in the bullpen. You have to make the move. And you and I have been a little surprised not to see her get the start in back-to-back games, but Coach Garnett's moves have proved to be good, right? You saw the freshman get the start in the first game of our doubleheader. Maddie Hahn, I thought she threw very well in that performance, and then trying to ride that arm doesn't really work out. You bring in Nishikawa, a little bit of a wild card, someone that hadn't pitched in a couple of weeks. It's just one of those things when you're facing a lineup like Oregon a couple of times over, they're going to start to make their adjustments. And now this would have been the 3rd time through the lineup, so good time to make the change.
And it's Elon Butler at the top of the lineup. Solo home run. Her program record tying 19th of the year. Down the left field line in the first inning. And her second trip up came within a couple feet of going deep for the second time today, also out to left field. So after being no-hit earlier today, this was a great way to start this elimination game.
Yeah, home run number 19 for the senior. Has been making some history with her one season at Oregon. Her teammates were asking her, "Did you touch home plate?" And she was celebrating. This team offensively did not have much to celebrate in their game against Mississippi State. So the first at-bat of this ball game, they're like, let's celebrate. Let's get it all out right now. But let's make sure we also touch home plate.
Steady rain here in Eugene. Temperature will be in the 40s by the end of the night. They got no hit against Mississippi State. It was the first time that the Ducks had been no hit in better than 3 years. End of the regular season 2023 against Utah. Melissa Faircloth with a no-hitter, the 3rd different Bulldogs pitcher with a no-hitter this year. So Mississippi State needs to win just one game tomorrow. They'll have a little bit more than 24 hours rest from the time they got off the field shortly after 4 Pacific time. That's way too far inside, and Elon Butler takes first base.
This is not going to feel good for Butler. Going in tight.
As this rain continues to come down, She may have lost control of that pitch. How much of a factor is that here with being able to grip the ball?
Huge. Pitcher's worst nightmare is pitching in the rain and trying to grip the ball. And especially with the type of pitcher that Odie Vasquez is, she's a rise ball pitcher, and so the way that she's spinning and cutting the ball, it's going to slip out, and if it's going to miss, it's going to miss into right-handed hitters, and that's where Elon Butler was standing. Might be a little bit easier if you have a screwball that requires maybe a little bit less rip on that ball, something that you can go to, but a rise ball, you really have to cut that pointer finger, that middle finger. You have to spin that ball a lot to get that ball to move. And when you're dealing with the rain and the moisture on the ball, it's just a tough grip to have.
Well, good. I'm glad he was able to get through the poncho. I was worried he was just going to throw it on top and just leave it that way.
I've been seeing too much broccoli because that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw the poncho. I was like, broccoli!
Harper just tardy there. Harper got it in on the hands. And that'll do it for the inning. Katie Flannery with a 2-run home run gives Oregon a little bit of breathing room here after 3.5. Late night softball here in Eugene, Oregon. Our third and final game of the day from Jane Sanders Stadium. And the host Oregon Ducks not in a comfortable spot, but one that they know from last year as they played their way into the World Series. And they were in this elimination game on Saturday night, won 2 on Sunday, and that'll have to be their path again. A 3-0 lead here over St. Mary's. Oregon was a winner yesterday and then was no hit by Mississippi State earlier today. Alyssa Faircloth spun a gem for the Bulldogs. It's Mississippi State in the regional final, needing to win 1 tomorrow. And St. Mary's lost to Mississippi State yesterday, defeated Idaho State in the game preceding. This one had 30 minutes to turn it around and get right back to action. And so it's a 3-0 ball game right now. Sonia Garnett with us here as St. Mary's trails 3-0. And you started Maddie Hahn in this game, took her out pretty quickly. Mia Nishikawa was effective 3 1/3 until the last batter she faced. What allowed her to be effective during her time in the circle?
Her spin was on and she was hitting really good spots. Her rise was working, and I was really happy with the performance she had today.
Coach, obviously we talked about how many runners you had in scoring position in our game prior to this one. We're seeing a little bit of that so far. Obviously Hannah Ferguson getting on base, but what are you seeing from adjustments from pitch to pitch against Taylor Spencer in the circle?
I think we just need to take advantage of the early strike. She's throwing a good one, and we need to attack it and capitalize. We know they're going to score runs, so we just need to answer back.
You being a pitcher, what impact does this rain have right now on being able to grip the ball?
We just got to take our time and make sure we've got a dry ball, and if we do that, we got to be ready to throw the pitch and execute. So we got to play through it.
Appreciate it, Sonia. Thanks.
Thanks.
So 3 runs on 6 hits for Oregon. St. Mary's a runner in each inning. 3 pitchers in, and for the second straight day, it's been a hitter in the bottom third of the lineup that has come through with a home run for Oregon. Yesterday it was Ayanna Shaw with a grand slam, and tonight Katie Flannery with a 2-run blast in the top of the 4th. No time yet to kick back and relax, though. As it's a leadoff base hit for Alex Cudinelli in the bottom of the 4th inning. For the first time tonight against Taylor Spencer, St. Mary's as the leadoff batter on.
Well, that's exactly what Coach Garnett was ordering right there. Just be a little bit more aggressive. This offense trying to keep the momentum from game 1 of their doubleheader. And let's see a pitch early and get after it.
First player other than Hannah Ferguson to come through with a base hit. Freshman catcher Andrea De La Rosa earned her way into a starting spot down the stretch. And in their first game of the day today, had a 6th inning, 2-run single. That proved to be the margin of victory to eliminate Idaho State, keep the season alive for the Gales. Their first NCAA tournament victory ever.
And that's the pitch that St. Mary's has really struggled with against Taylor Spencer tonight. The curveball cutting away from right-handed hitters. It has a little bit of upspin as well. There's been so many times where Spencer has thrown nothing but that pitch in an at-bat. Just not afraid to double it up, triple it up, until she sees an adjustment from the St. Mary's offense. Beat me on the right side of the field.
And even if you put it in play, she knows she's got Elon Butler out there in right field who's willing to lay out for anything. 4 strikeouts for Spencer. That's a bloop. Shallow center. It's down for a base hit. It doesn't have to be hard hit to be a base hit. Epitomized right there by De La Rosa.
Well, it's kind of interesting. De La Rosa struck out on the curveball in her last at-bat and was set up perfectly to get another curveball here, but Spencer goes inside. It misses over the heart of the plate. And it's not pretty, but it's good enough. Just jammed into the middle of no man's land out there in shallow center. St. Mary's, they'll take it. This is as good as an opportunity as they have had in this game. Elise Sokolsky has been warming up in the bullpen the last inning or so, and I think
she's getting the call.
Senior time, yeah. Remember, Oregon is still without their All-American, Lindsey Grine. We have not seen her this weekend. It's been a combination of Taylor Spencer and Elise Sokolsky. Has been ruled out with an eye infection. It's been a day-to-day thing. She's still rallying the troops, though, cheering for her teammates, but we just haven't seen her in uniform.
Sokolsky has been effective in any role she's been put into this weekend. Here it's protecting a 3-0 lead. Under the lights at Jane Sanders Stadium, and the Oregon faithful have shown out and showed up for the Ducks. 3-0 Oregon, and they turn it over to the redshirt senior Elise Sokolsky. She takes over for Taylor Spencer, a 1-2 punch. We did see Maddie Milhorn, the freshman, earlier. But this is a perfect spot to bring in an experienced pitcher.
Yeah, you have to go to your veteran in this spot. When she came in on relief yesterday against Idaho State, it was just so dominant.
She faced 11 batters, retired them all, and struck out 5. So the hope is here she can dim the embers of a growing fire offensively from the Gales.
Sokolsky, she's going to be more down in the zone. See her get a lot of ground ball outs. Defense so important behind her. The movement there, drop on the outside part of the plate, and it's a great counter with Taylor Spencer, who threw very well, was working that upspin, that rise curve combo.
Silva down swinging. there is a confident effervescence with which she pitches. Her energy is contagious.
And one thing about Lee Sokolsky is she's not going to mess around. She's going to pump strikes. So if you're hitting against her, you've got to be ready to swing. You've just got to pick a zone. The trick is that ball was moving.
Second plate appearance for Tori Cervantes. She walked in the second inning, goes fishing upstairs. Second-year starter in center field wanted to lay one down and wisely pulls back.
Cervantes, she has a lot of speed. Of course, the center fielder for St. Mary's. But she can go to her short game from the right side.
She hits this one hard down the left field line. Harper drifting on the run. Bobbles, and it's a fair ball. Runners had to hold up, and the bases are loaded for the Gales. A tricky play. Wall encroaching on Harper. Wet conditions. She could not bring it in, but still no damage done in the run column.
And this is exactly where the rain is going to come into play. You just misjudge it. She jumps too soon. And unfortunate for St. Mary's, this is one of those things where you always practice the base running. Am I going to go halfway? Am I going to tag? And Cottinelli, she went back to tag. And it's why she was only able to advance to third base only 60 feet. Had she gone halfway, she would have been able to score easily. It's just one of those things. How are you going to play it?
And is scored as a hit down the left field line. So the third of the inning, the fifth of the night for the Gales. Can they avoid the problem that has plagued them today, like a gray cloud hanging overhead, leaving runners on base? Between two games, that tally is 16 stranded. Ground ball, first base, it is through the right side. One run is in, and the Gales get two. It's a one-run ball game in Eugene. Cottinelli and De La Rosa score. The St. Mary's faithful upright and vibing.
And productivity from the bottom of the lineup. This is a senior in the 8-hole, playing for her career. And Maake at first base, just a little bit flat on her feet. That's probably a backhand that she needs to make, but that ball was scorched. It ricochets off of her into right field, into Elon Butler's hand. She chooses to go to 3 instead of coming to 4. 2-run score. How quickly this game can turn.
Julia Medina, the pinch runner at first base for St. Mary's. Bottom 4 elimination game. Both teams have won one and lost one. The loser shuts it down for the season. The winner goes on, hoping to win 2 tomorrow against Mississippi State. And a well-timed visit to the circle here from Sydney Romero.
Well, this tells me that this is about defense. Yep. Defensive positioning, first and third situation. Let's get everyone on the same page. And I'm sure that she has a little bit of information on what Coach Lombardi is going to be calling against Zabet at the plate. And so these are the pitches that we're going to call. This is where we're going to be shifted. This is the out that we want to make. So I'm looking at the middle infield. They seem to be right around the base paths. So a couple of steps in, more than normal depth. Corners are crunched in a little bit.
You can't rule anything out. The bunt is down, and Oregon didn't know the situation well. The flip to home, there was nobody coming home, and the bases are loaded once again.
The one thing you have to know when scouting St. Mary's is they are a team about speed. This is not a home run hitting heavy team. They are a base to base, steal a base, squeeze you in type of team. And so this does not surprise me one bit. This is the 9-hole batter, and it's just a little bit of a pop-up. Everyone kind of sits back a little bit, and maybe it's just not enough communication. That ball could have been an out at first base.
Would have been the second out of the inning. Now it's the top of the lineup, and Camille Lara swinging at the first pitch. Who needs to be the lead on communication there? Where you've got a whole host of players crashing in on the ball.
Cox behind the plate. She's the one that can see the runner not coming down the line.
One-run game, bottom of the fourth. Lara behind on it, and it's 0-2. You're exactly right, though, about the bunt being laid down there by the number 9 hitter. They've asked their best hitter to bunt today.
I wouldn't have ruled out a bunt here with bases loaded. A squeeze bunt. Camille Lara, a short gamer, she's choosing to swing away. Of course, now has 2 strikes.
As the rain slows, the intensity rises. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seventh batter of the inning for the Gales, already 2 runs home.
Great stop behind the dish, the sophomore. As a freshman a season ago in that starting spot.
Sokolsky's 2-2 is lifted down the left field line. St. Mary's here in the fourth has played it 4 to take the lead on the Oregon Ducks. Lara's not lucky. She is electric at the top of the lineup.
Well, this is a program that is now coming off of their first ever NCAA tournament win. We just saw them take down Idaho State. It has been a long time coming. This is the 3rd time that St. Mary's has been in the NCAA tournament. And so they're just on a roll. And I love the fact that the bottom of the lineup flips it over to the top. Camille Lara and now Hannah Ferguson. These are 2 of the best bats in terms of barrel control. They're very hard to strike out, tough outs. And finally, St. Mary's with the bases loaded. We have watched them this entire weekend struggle with runners on base. I think they've had enough of that.
Hannah Ferguson has not been retired in this game. Singled in the first, doubled in the third. Fouls away the 1-0 pitch. And you want to go back and replay some of this inning. Taylor Lane with the ground ball to first. That was the error on Maake. 2-run score. That could be an out. The fielder's choice from Zabat. And the flip to home could have also been an out. And the Ducks could have been out of the inning. Instead, it continues with the most dangerous bats for St. Mary's up. Hannah Ferguson has been her true self tonight. With a little bit extra. 422 hitter in the regular season. Bouncer, Flannery gets the out on the base pass. 2 away. She's been nothing but spectacular at third.
Yeah, nothing gets by Katie Flannery over at third base. She's one of those players where it's a bonus if her offense is showing up, and of course it has in this game. Hit a 2-run shot in the top of this inning, but defensively you just can't take her out of the lineup because she is so good with her glove.
Sam Buckley is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Both of those were against Taylor Spencer. And pitches that look like that one. Sokolsky will hope to replicate the outcome or something similar. Already a 4-run fourth.
Sokolsky's been trying to show that off-speed pitch in this inning. It just has not been there for a strike. Now if you're Sam Buckley, I'm swinging big on one zone and one speed.
Buckley hits it directly to Ho, the short way for the out, and the inning is over. The night, though, is young. St. Mary's was down 3-0. They had stranded 3 runners through 3. They took advantage of their own success at the plate. A defensive mistake or 2 by Oregon. And this game has been flipped upside down as we go to the 5th. Before about 4 hours ago, the St. Mary's Gales had never won an NCAA tournament game. Now they've got one in their back pocket and a 4-3 lead over the number 14 national seed, the Oregon Ducks. Here as we go to the 5th at Jane Sanders Stadium in Eugene. Mississippi State waiting for the winner of this game tomorrow. The loser season is over. In this double elimination format, both teams coming into this game at 1-1. 3-4-5 for Oregon, starting with Stephanie Maake. It was 1 for 2 with a single. And she comes up against the 3rd pitcher of the day, Odie Vasquez, the 2-time conference pitcher of the year. Took over to finish off the 4th inning. And I hope she can carry them the rest of the way. Maake short to left, and it's dropped by Lara. There was some confusion between Lara in left, Zabat coming out from short, and a hesitation and a slight moment favors Oregon.
Yeah, you could see that happening. This is probably Zabat's ball, and so Lara's come in a long way, and you could see Zabat, she gave up on it. So that tells me that she heard Lara call for it, and probably calling for it too early. It's a big miss. That's a ball that needs to be caught. Last thing you want to do is allow a team like Oregon, offense like Oregon, any opportunity to get back in this ball game.
Sub on a stick in the Oregon dugout.
Is that what that was? Oh, yeah, it's just a sandwich.
Are you really asking the sandwich connoisseur sitting to your left if that's a sub on a stick?
Kind of looks like a bagel at first to me.
Have you seen a bagel before? Yeah. Are you sure?
I think so. I'm a little food deprived right now, so everything is just looking really good. Thinking about our meal tonight. It's been a long day up here in the booth. We're surviving on Rice Krispies and clementines.
How about vegetables?
Broccoli. We're thriving and fueled on broccoli, that's for sure.
No one has been more dedicated than Broccoli Man in center field. He may have gotten a pretty hefty sunburn earlier today, but it is now 9:20 Pacific time. He's going on more than 8 hours of center field fandom. And the Cox down swinging against Vasquez.
Odie Vasquez, she's so good corner to corner, likes to work this curveball. She'll go low rise in tight on the hands and then curveball away. It's pretty simple. The West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. Bring in the velocity. She trusts her stuff. She's very confident in the circle.
Ball 1 to K-Dub, Kaylin Jones.
Not to bring it back to Broccoli Guy, but I am a little concerned. I haven't seen him eat anything either all day. been sharing his broccoli, that's for sure.
Some of the Idaho State fans came away with some florets.
Yep.
He does look a little exhausted.
Yes, he's so exhausted.
First base, Lane with a leaping grab. Smart play. She paused, gathered, and got the lead runner. There's Riley McCoy. Oregon got out to a 1-0 lead. Elon Butler with a solo home run, with the Ducks being the visiting team here in this game. Scoreless for both teams in the second and the third. And then another home run for Oregon. One in the leadoff spot in the fourth inning. Katie Flannery, the 9-hitter, a 2-run home run. And St. Mary's with 4 runs in the bottom of the fourth inning, working with a 1-run cushion.
Think about how St. Mary's and Coach Garnett has split this doubleheader with her staff, using the freshman Maddie Hahn. Of course, we saw Nishikawa, the junior, come in as well. And that allows their best arm to be a little bit more fresh in a situation where a lot of times you'll just see the ace try and go as far as you can, get the start in game one. But Vasquez is coming in with some fire in her arm because she's fresh. Of course, she pitched yesterday and pitched her heart out against Mississippi State. But this is as good as a situation as you can have in an elimination game. Backs against the wall, second game of the day. Hasn't pitched a lot.
Up and into McCoy. She's over to first. It's been, in a way, from St. Mary's, their reverse Cosmo Kramer theory, seeing how far you can take the tank once the meter hits empty. And so many times for the teams that are especially not the power conference teams in the double elimination format, in an effort just to try and stay alive as long as possible, they do exactly what you just said. So this has been played well by St. Mary's. But they've got to be careful here because this inning has gotten extended. It was the leadoff error in left field that allowed Maake to reach first and second. And there are going to be no surprises when it comes to Ayanna Shaw at the plate after she hit a grand slam yesterday. Just her second career home run. Both of them coming in the last 6 weeks.
Well, tried to drag bunt in her last at-bat, but popped up to De La Rosa behind the plate. Seeing her in this at-bat, showing her slap. 2 outs, just trying to put the bat on the ball.
Green picks up again. 1-1 to the right side. It's past Catanelli. Ferguson in right, and her throw to the plate does not meet a contestant. A stop sign at third for Kaylin Jones.
Really solid piece of slapping here. This is a pitch you can see where De La Rosa behind the plate was set up. She wanted that ball, a ball off of the plate. Instead, it's a little bit more center cut, and Ayanna Shaw is able to pull it a little bit. Alex Catanelli up the middle, a little out of position as well. She has to go to her left. That ball gets all the way to right field. And nice throw in from Hannah Ferguson keeps Kaylin Jones at third base.
Ducks down 1, bases loaded, 2 out in the 5th. Taryn Ho takes ball 1. St. Mary's Sage to stop play here and make sure every permutation is considered.
That was a slow walk out to the circle from Coach Garnett, just looking at her scouting report, getting her thoughts together. And you have the defense huddled up as well, so the pitch calling feeding into the defense. Of course, bases loaded, 2 outs. Also just reminding your senior in the circle, hey, pitch to your defense. Let them grab a base.
And there's such a deep trust amongst this team. As we talked to them on Thursday, Odie Vasquez, who learned to pitch by watching YouTube videos, knew that a college scholarship was an opportunity for her to take her game to the next level. She wants to continue playing after this. She wants to go to Italy. But you can tell that her best friends in the world are the ones who are playing beside her and behind her.
I really fell in love with pitching, and she credits her teammates for getting her to that point. Talked about, I didn't love pitching. I was good at it. And there's a difference with being good at pitching, but also loving pitching. And it wasn't until her sophomore year at St. Mary's when she was, of course, West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. St. Mary's gets to the NCAA tournament. She said, my teammates really propelled me. I love this. I'm also good at it, but I want to be out there.
It's 3-0 to the freshman Taryn Ho. Vasquez has missed up, that time down and in.
This is just overthinking to me. You had the timeout. I'm sure there was the conversation about go at the number 8 batter in this lineup. Trust your stuff.
And she misses. We're tied. Jones scores, and the error that began the inning comes back to bite.
And that's so easy to do in the circle. I mean, this is a senior. She knows the situation. You just had the timeout, and you just overthrow. It's that simple. You almost want it too much, and then you tighten up. And when you tighten up as a pitcher, that's the worst place you can be. And now you have to reset.
Face Katie Flannery, who's 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer. Isn't that the way it goes? Now she gets the strike.
Yeah, because the pressure is already off. It's just so weird how it happens, and I can feel it with her up here in the booth.
How do you alleviate it?
Oh, you can trick yourself a little bit. You have to figure out where you need to be, and sometimes you need a teammate to step up and come bark in your ear a little bit, almost distract you a little bit. Go back to your breathing mechanisms. It's all about your routine. But it's hard to say, right? When you have a home crowd that's getting loud, they're stomping their feet, your heart rate is up, the adrenaline's pumping.
Comes back, gets the strikeout, and ends the inning. The Ducks leave the bases loaded, but they do tie the game. A bases loaded walk, even at 4. It's an elimination game this Saturday night here in Eugene, Oregon. The Ducks have just come back to tie the game, got a bases loaded walk, so a 4-4 game, 1 hit and 1 error different in either direction. And there was not much brewing for St. Mary's over the first 3 innings. They had 2 base hits, a total of 3 base runners, but all 9 batters came to the plate in the 4th inning. They got a 2-run error on a hard hit ground ball to first. And when they've scored 4 or more, The only time they lost was against Loyola Marymount. That was an 11-5 game back on the 1st of this month. So they have been great, and they've been able to tally up some runs. Alex Cudinelli is out number 1 against Elise Sokolsky. It's been raining most of this game. On and off, heavy and then light. De La Rosa, a strikeout and a bloop single, back-to-back base hits to start off last inning. And both of those base hits came around to score.
She showed us this weekend why she's earned that starting spot behind the plate. Was not an everyday starter at the beginning of the season, really had to work her way into the lineup.
Through 4 innings, they've stranded 5. It's also a burgeoning problem for Oregon. The Ducks have left 8 on base. Well executed from the senior in the circle.
Yeah, that's a pitch that I would love to see used a little bit more. Obviously, it's been all about the drop ball with Sokolsky, but that off-speed pitch is such a difference maker.
Struck her out. The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City, and the action starts Thursday, May 28th. It's noon Eastern. It's on ESPN. For more information on the 2026 Women's College World Series, head to NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. It's the West Coast Conference and the Big Ten here tonight. The showdown against the SEC tomorrow for tonight's winner. Elon Butler careful to keep that ball within reach. Kaya Silva has her first hit, a 2-out single.
I saw Alex Cudinelli swing aggressively on the first pitch of her at-bat in this inning, and Kaya Silva doing the same. So a little bit of a theme here. You can tell that St. Mary's wants to be the aggressor offensively, try and get some runners on base, especially 2 outs. And again.
Would you do anything differently if you sensed that from the opposition as a pitcher?
Yeah, I'd throw a changeup. It's one of those things where if you don't have a changeup that maybe you're not going to use all the time, you can hold it and wait until you see something from the offense. Okay, now I'm going to pull it out. I haven't needed it. It's always good to hold a pitch just in case you need to make an adjustment late in the game.
She didn't come close to going around there, 1-1. Tori Cervantes is going to make Sokolsky throw one she likes. She had a long single to left field. It danced out of the glove of Amari Harper right in front of the wall. And now has the count in her favor at 3-1.
Let's see right there, Emma Cox behind the plate telling her senior, take a breath.
That's down the right field line, and it's a fair ball. Silva off to the races from first. She's windmilled home. The throw to second base, and St. Mary's is in front once again. It's 5-4 Gales. And the Ducks are feeling the gale force on their home field.
The rally towels in full force. What an elite piece of hitting from Tori Cervantes, the senior center fielder. Getting herself into a hitter's count, that's what it's all about. Seeing a lot of pitches, getting yourself into a favorable account where you can sit one speed. Split the plate, I'm looking away, here it is. Be on time. That ball was just laced. You can see where Elon Butler was playing a little shallow, has to run a long way. And then again, the throw coming in. I'm not saying that this would have been a play at the plate, but this is a runner at first base situation, and the throw is going to third base. Right there, you can see where our runner, Silva, was. She was just rounding second. I'm going in to my second baseman, letting my second baseman throw in home, hoping that maybe there's a play at the plate.
There's only one way to find out.
Exactly.
And it is to the bullpen here for the Ducks. Taylor Spencer back. Runner at third. St. Mary's still threatening here in the fifth inning. Tori Cervantes, RBI triple, puts the Gales in the driver's seat. Time is dwindling on somebody's season. Right now, that's Oregon. Elimination game. Taylor Spencer returns. She went the first 3 innings, faced 2 batters in the 4th, gave up a pair of singles, and exited in favor of Elise Sokolsky, who hands the ball back to Spencer here with a runner at third and 2 out in the last of the 5th. The Ducks are the visiting team here in this game. And it's Taylor Lane with a chance to add to Oregon's tab here. And it's an important pitching change, Kenzie.
Yeah, of course, Taylor Spencer was the starter that we saw in this game. Elise Sokolsky comes in to relief. Taylor Spencer re-enters, so that means Sokolsky is burnt. She's done for the night. And that's a senior.
And the pitching options significantly shortened for Oregon with the absence of Lindsey Grine. Her availability for today was uncertain, but she is out for a second straight day with an eye infection. We're told swelling was an issue for her. So Spencer is back. We've also seen Maddie Milhorn, freshman, out of the bullpen for the Ducks. And they are not at full strength. Which is really the opposite of what they felt on Thursday, because they made a first-round exit from the Big Ten tournament, eliminated by Wisconsin, so they got that extra rest, a chance to recalibrate, and then a shock. 3-2 to Taylor Lane.
You can't help but be human, right? Elise Sokolsky, you could see the emotion. She knows that she can't do anything but watch now and cheer on her teammates.
Payoff to Lane, skied left center field, and Shaw takes care of business. It's St. Mary's 5, Oregon 4. Tori Cervantes worked her way into a hitter's count.
Well, this is a team that is coming off of their first NCAA tournament win in program history, but I think they want a little more.
St. Mary's has battled its way back to take a 5-4 lead against Oregon. It was 3-0 Ducks going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Oregon, the number 14 national seed. If they win here, we'll need to win 2 tomorrow. And the regional hosts who didn't make it to Supers last year, the most notable, of course, was the number 1 overall seed, Texas A&M, LSU, Arizona, and Duke. It was a stunning year. Oregon not alone in that category this year. Backhand Zabat, and a dig at first from Taylor Lane to get Elon Butler. That is some redemption for Mia Zabat. An error against her yesterday helped turn the game against Mississippi State. She made that look easy.
Yeah, going deep in the hole here. This ball is hit very hard off the bat of Elon Butler, and this is a long throw, especially when your momentum is taking you the opposite way. Good scoop by Taylor Lane at first to finish that off.
Harper misses 2-0. You look back the last 10 tournaments with Oregon down here, 5 outs to play with. National seeds, your top 16 teams, to be eliminated and not reach Sunday. And it is a short list. And it's a short trip to first base, too, for Harper, who was on representing the tying run. Last year, it was LSU. 2 years ago, it was Arkansas. 3 years ago, it was UCLA. In 2021, the dubious distinction was with 2 teams, both Arizona State and Tennessee. And that's the situation Oregon finds itself in here if they're not able to pull out a win. Ducks pinch runner, Elise Crescio, the sophomore of Jasper, Georgia.
And for Oregon, of course, you know that they're talking about it after the loss earlier today, and the fans are talking about it. Well, this is where we were a season ago. We can do it again. The difference is there's not an All-American in the circle. There was an All-American in the circle a season ago. To have your backs against the wall and carry you through those elimination games and do it the hard way. Win twice on Sunday. We have not seen Lindsey Grine. And it feels different.
De La Rosa for a friendly chat with Kenzie Fowler, Mike Cousins. Glad you're with us here. St. Mary's vying for its second NCAA tournament win ever. Their first was about 3 hours ago. They got good positioning here, but this is a tough spot in the lineup. What you said, though, a moment ago, Kenzie, I think is wise, that it feels different without Lindsey Grine. And how could it not? But it feels less confident for Oregon and more of a, we hope we can get there. 4 out of his own. Maake to first. It hasn't been easy here for Odie Vasquez either.
Just because Lindsey Grine isn't in the circle, I mean, the Oregon offense is the same. It's a very good offense. Offense with a lot of home runs and a lot of pop. And this is a senior that is counting outs. Of course, we're counting them for her. She's trying to be in the moment. But this is a big one.
Cox going after the first pitch, pops it up. Cadanelli got the shoulders squared. And it's the second out of the inning. Cox 0 for 4.
She has been so stoic. That game face, she hasn't flinched. Hasn't changed her emotions at all, whether she's up or down. It is that game face right there.
That's her softball alter ego. And she's a happy-go-lucky player. There's no time for that right now. Not with the urgency that this moment requires. Trying to dethrone the powerhouse. The machine from the Big Ten. And the Duck constant of these first couple games has been the unexpected hero. Whether it was Ayanna Shaw or Katie Flannery, Kaylin Jones can play that role here. A base hit could tie the game. And a 1-1. It's Lara to her left. Oregon's season has 3 outs left if they don't score. 5-4 Gales, and they can add to that tally. Here in Eugene, St. Mary's, out of the West Coast Conference, has an upset on its mind over the number 14 national seed. 5-4 as the Gales come to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And when we are done from Eugene, there will be a lot of sports on SportsCenter, but I'm willing to wager Broccoli Man is going to be on SportsCenter too. How could he not be? He's been here longer than anybody else. Maybe only the groundskeepers have been here longer. SportsCenter, Broccoli, after this game on ESPN.
He has been an absolute machine. A little deep breath there.
Trevor Scales, Phil Murphy standing by in Bristol. Give you a look back at the day.
There's only one site that has Broccoli highlights, and it's ours. We take a lot of pride in that out here.
Oren Tran is the pinch hitter. 9th spot in the lineup. I don't know if your phone has looked like mine. The number of texts you've gotten. Going, what's the deal?
Yeah, with the broccoli.
What's the deal with Broccoli guy?
Yeah, not, oh, you're having a great game. Loving the competition on the field. No, what? What's going on with the broccoli?
I'll be back tomorrow. So will we. Regional final here in Eugene will be Mississippi State and either Oregon or St. Mary's. And that game scheduled for a first pitch of 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And no matter who the opponent is, the Bulldogs are going to be ready to go, not only offensively, but in the circle. Tran draws the walk.
No doubt. You think about Alyssa Faircloth throwing a no-hitter. We've talked about the 1-2 punch of Faircloth and Peja Gould, the senior. And Peja did not pitch today. Got the start yesterday. Faircloth came in and finished that game off against St. Mary's. So just quite the luxury that the Bulldogs have. Who do you go to? Do you ride the hot hand of Faircloth, or do you go to a rested senior?
Mia Zabat re-enters to run at first base. And the Gales will take any insurance they can get at this point. No lead is safe against this Oregon lineup. The Gales 31-1 when they've scored at least 4 runs this year. Camille Lara has just been vexing for opposing pitching this weekend.
Now, one thing that Camille Lara is going to make you do is work. She's going to take a lot of pitches, force you to throw to her strike zone, which is small player in stature. And is very comfortable taking her walks. And Coach Garnett needed someone to be on base this season, especially down the stretch. Hannah Ferguson, the hottest hitter, the hitter that leads the nation in triples, batting behind Lara. She said, in our lineup, we need someone on base for that power, for that triples power. And it's been Camille Lara down the stretch.
In need of a strike, Spencer finds the zone. took a painful carom off of Emma Cox. So she'll get some time to shake that off, as catchers can do. But she was playing baseball as a young girl. She showed up to practice one day. She was on a team of all boys, and the coaches said, all right, who's got a cup? And none of the boys had one. So they said, all right, Lauren, put on the gear. You're playing catcher. And she has loved being part of every play ever since. He's tough.
And played baseball since she was 12. Also played basketball in high school, where she won state twice. Of course, her mom played at Oklahoma. Not in the era of Missy Lombardi. She was a little bit older. Was a player at Oklahoma before Patty Gasso got there, but just raised in a bat and ball family. Eventually transitions over to softball. Getting to talk to her, she really spoke like a coach, wise beyond her years.
2-2. That's a fair ball. First and second for St. Mary's. A walk and a single. Similar to the fourth inning, you get runners on for the middle of this lineup, and good things can happen for the Gales.
Camille Lara, she had that 2 RBI single in her last at bat, so the bat is hot. Sees the ball so well to the left side, just trying to do her damage where she can show off her speed. And just sneaking this in, finding some chalk. The top of the lineup, you see the emotion. It's time to go. This is the top of the lineup where you want to be. Hannah Ferguson, Sam Buckley on deck. A little insurance would go a long way.
Ball one to Ferguson, who has not let anything happen quietly today. Even as they had just 2 hits over the first 3 innings, you know who had them both? Her. Single and a double her first 2 times up. She rounded into a fielder's choice back in the 4th inning. This has been the game they were hoping for from her. Coming at exactly the right time. After all of last year, having to sit out, she was recovering from a wrist injury and in her first preseason practice back. Injured her right elbow. So she, like you, Kenzie, has a scar from that surgery.
There's a lot of sharing war wounds in our meetings. A lot of adversity. These injuries to these athletes, redshirting, taking a year off, having to come back. And she said she used that year off to have it just be a learning opportunity. Got to sit with my coaches through every practice and every game, pick their brains. And mentally, it was eye-opening what I was able to learn. Just kind of seeing the game as a whole versus just my position.
Count is even as Spencer comes back with a bold strike.
And she's got to be productive here. No outs, a lot of speed, all the bases, hers included.
And it's a violation against Ferguson. So she is out. Todd Foy stepped out from behind home to call the violation against Ferguson.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. I do. I was watching the clock tick down, and it was at 3, and she needs to be in the box at 8. You have 12 seconds as a batter. 12, 11. She's not in yet. Oh. Huh. Well.
So it was the hands of time that Oregon needed to shut down Hannah Ferguson in her 4th time up. Team home run leader Sam Buckley is 0 for 3. She struggled seeing the outside pitch here tonight. 2 strikeouts.
I'm a little stunned. Haven't really gotten over that yet. Taking the bat out of maybe the best hitter in this lineup. No outs. 2 runners on. Well, this is also a hitter that I've been waiting to kind of have a breakout moment. Had the home run yesterday. She's the big power bat. Hannah Ferguson is the speed, is the average, the hits leader. But Sam Buckley is the power.
And as if some power up above has recognized the importance of this moment and this night, well, the heavens have opened up their most intense downpour yet. Late on a Saturday night here in Eugene, Sunday morning in other places. It's 3-2 for Buckley with 2 on and 1 out. Payoff pitch, she's down looking. Struck out for the 3rd time in 4 trips to the plate.
Oh man, for St. Mary's, they need Sam Buckley's bat to leave her shoulder right here, and it doesn't. Taylor Spencer just icing her up. Outside corner. You gotta swing.
Alex Cardinelli ready to do just that. And whiffs at the first pitch. Back-to-back base runners, then back-to-back outs. The 1 misses away, 1-1. And at the top of the 7th inning, even though we're in Eugene, Oregon, the road team, they'll have the 6, 7, and 8 spots due up. So no Elon Butler, no Amari Harper. And it's 2-2, Jones to first. The season on the line. A 1-run lead as St. Mary's looks to do what it has never done before. There have been 5 national seeds eliminated without reaching the regional final. And St. Mary's is within 3 outs of adding Oregon to that list. Last year, it was the number 10 seed LSU. 2 years ago, 12 seed Arkansas, and Oregon down 1. Number 14 national seed. They were no hit earlier today for the first time in 3 years. And now 1 hit here in this inning would give them the tying run on base. The 7th inning starts with Riley McCoy against Odie Vasquez, the 2-time West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year, who didn't start. She wasn't even the first one on relief. But she hopes to finish and bring the Gales to the regional final.
Rain continuing to come down. So some adversity for our pitchers in the circle.
Vasquez ahead 0-2, gets weak contact, and the first out. The goal this year for St. Mary's wasn't just making it this far. It was making it to tomorrow. And they're 2 outs away from doing that after winning their league, winning every conference series for the first time ever. And the unconventional choice to go away from their ace in the season's most important games. And it all came back around to her. She needs a dry softball here under the precipitation in Eugene. Make no mistake, these are not comfortable conditions.
You have to give it up for the fans, though. No one has moved from their seats. Everyone's just kind of taking the rain in, like, bring it on.
Strike one on Ayanna Shaw. Over Vasquez, under Zabot. There's speed on the base pass for the Ducks. Here in the 7th, the tying run is on.
The bottom of the lineup for Oregon has been doing its job between Ayanna Shaw, Taryn Ho, and of course, in that 9 spot, she's in the hole. Katie Flannery had that 2-run home run back in the 4th inning.
The bottom 3 hitters in this lineup have come to the plate a collective 10 times today. Whether by putting a ball in play, walking, reaching on an error, they've gotten on base 6 times. And accounted for 2 of the 4 Duck runs. And right out of the gates, it looked like it was going to be their night. The leadoff home run for Elon Butler. They held that 1-0 lead through 3. Augmented it to 3-0. And then 4 in the bottom of the 4th for St. Mary's. And from there, the game had totally changed.
The location, I would just stay right there. Low and away, work the curveball, trust the spin, and if Taryn Ho does put something on it, it's to your right side. Vasquez continues to bring the velocity despite the rain.
Swing and a miss. The freshman is retired.
That's exactly right. Just trust your curveball. Locating away in the spin, you can see the tail that it has. Taryn Ho's just late. Trying to see that ball as deep as she can. That's an elite pitch from one of the best arms on the West Coast.
Katie Flannery hoping to keep this Oregon season going. This would be a massive upset for St. Mary's. Earlier this year, when St. Mary's beat both Stanford and Washington, Odie Vasquez said, I didn't realize we won right away. She was in such a state, so dialed in, so immersed, that it was only afterward that it really hit her. And she's a strike away from the biggest out of her career.
Senior All-American who has not thrown a pitch in her home regional. I can't imagine what she's been going through this week. Yes, she's in great spirits right now, cheering on her team, trying to will her team to tie this ball game out. 2 outs. Her career hangs in the balance, along with Elon Butler, Amari Harper, But man, for Lindsey Grine not being able to throw a pitch, it's been heartbreaking to watch.
1-2. Out towards second. Here comes Cudinelli, and she's got it! Upset complete for St. Mary's. Winless in the NCAA tournament until today. They get 2 victories, and it's on to the regional final against Mississippi State. Oregon's season comes to an end. The first national seed to fall here in 2026.
Just backs against the wall. How about making a little more history? Why stop now? Why be content with winning your first ever NCAA tournament win? Just keep going. We will see you for Championship Sunday, and your heart breaks for this Oregon team that was facing so much adversity, not healthy in the circle. Elise Sokolsky doing everything that she can. You see the emotion, realizing what has just happened.
The same for Lindsey Grine. One of the worst questions to be left with in life is what if? And that will hang around for a long time for the seniors on the Oregon Duck squad. 5-4 final score. Let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. The bottom of the lineup consistently came through for St. Mary's. In the 5th, Tori Cervantes had worked her way into a hitter's count with Kaya Silva at first base. She scored her on a triple to the right field corner.
St. Mary's just pulled all the right moves, whether it was the pitching changes or pinch hitters at the right time. Of course, Tori Cervantes, she's a senior getting that key hit. She wants her career to keep going. Look how much this means to this Gales team. This program has never been here before. What a moment.
Their mission was Sunday, but a new objective has been added to that mission. It's win 2. They did it today, and they'll try and do it again tomorrow. It's a 7:30 Eastern first pitch, 4:30 Pacific. Make no mistake, Mississippi State has the upper hand. Not only do they only need to win 1, but they've got 2 of the best pitchers in the country, bar none, ready to go. The Oregon Ducks say so long, and the St. Mary's Gales say see you tomorrow. A rainy night in Eugene is not unusual, but the Ducks, as a national seed, leaving this early certainly is. 5-4, St. Mary's over Oregon. For our crew, Kenzie Fowler, I'm Mike Cousins saying so long. It's time for SportsCenter here on ESPN.